Starting out this morning along the Lower Rouge River, and we got a lot of trash that's been piled up over here. Some of the material is wind blown, some of it's blown off a parking lot next door just to get it out of the parking lot. So they got a nice neat looking parking lot, but we have all this plastic and paper and things like this here in the woods where the birds and animals congregate. We got one little balloon over there. We'll try to get that one. That'll be an adventure. Over here is a potential entry point for this section of the park, which is really very beautiful, and we'll be taking a look at that a little later. This section is not doing too bad. In fact, we're seeing some wildflowers here too. So looking good there. We'll see a little close-up of that later. But we're just being happy right now because they have persisted from last year. It's very deep in there. We often see deer pass through this area. There's other animals and a lot of birds. Down this area over here is another potential entrance or exit from the park. And we're going to be taking some of our trophy trash out of there today. A couple of large pieces of metal that we've identified over the past 2 years. The difficulty is that somebody has been here doing some illegal dumping. They get rid of their trash from doing all sorts of gardening and nursery work and landscaping. And it looks to them like, oh, this is a big abandoned area. They can get rid of the materials. But what they're doing is they're blocking the work that we're doing. And they're also sometimes, and I don't care for the phrase, but they're introducing invasive species. So you end up with some shrub that came from Siberia growing out here. But we're dealing with that. But this is a sort of mess that's out here. And we're gonna pick through the trash here, which includes this, because they bring along their own bit of garbage, and dump it here. And we're going to be moving that the trash out and then spreading out whatever we can that's still okay to work with. And here is a cut branch. So they did some really good work somewhere, and then they came and brought it here and dumped it in the public park. So here's a large one, and we're seeing a lot of this. And this morning when we came down, this area right here was covered with them. You could not even get down this future trail, and apparently it was there at one time because we can see it down that moves out that way. And here are some others, and these have all appeared within the last 2 or 3 weeks, so it's not like they've been laying here for a while. This looks brand new, however. Let's take a look at this. There we go. Final charge, 50/50 pre-diluted. Isn't that nitrate free for all heavy duty engines, and there's no cap on it. Now that's just shown up, but here is a trophy piece. That's a little bitty trophy piece. We have some larger ones we'll be talking about in a minute. In any case, it's a beautiful morning today here in the city of Wayne, and we're getting ready to work. We will be planting a tree later and spreading some seeds, and you'll see all that as well. Thank you. We're back here in the city of Wayne. We're taking a look at some trash along the area here, and I promised you some trophy trash, and here's our first piece of trophy trash, and this is going to get us down into the wetlands here, and we're taking a look at a piece of steel, assuming that's steel, and that's about, I think that's 12 to 16 feet long. It's in there. I think it could be 16 feet long, but maybe 14. So we're going to be taking that out in a minute, and then we're going to have kind of a walkway that we could go enter that, and we'll do that ceremoniously over by the rock. We'll walk past the rock. So we're going to take this piece out carefully and put it out. We are not removing any of the materials that the landscaping company or whoever did that brought here. We're going to leave that here and see what we can do about that for the future. It's a beautiful day down here. What you're looking at right now is some wetlands Beyond that, large vernal ponds appear, and it's also a part of the place where the Lower Rouge passes through. So let's get our trophy piece out, and then we'll take a look at it up top. Big piece of steel. Here we go. Just a quick interlude before we get started with removing this first trophy piece of steel. I just wanted to bring out the fact that we have a cut piece of wood here. So there it is. And that is from some landscaping company. That was not here before. This used to be visible, more visible. And the problem with that is that, you know, they're taking unfair advantage of our public lands, et cetera, and so forth. But the fact of the matter is, we get some folks down here, or animals or creatures down here, and they trip or get cut on that stuff. That's serious. And I just wanted to give you a safety warning. We're using gloves. We're using proper safety procedures. We're gonna have to clear this section out before we even get to that. But we are gonna take that piece of metal out and have professionals come and remove it. So there we are. That's what we're working for. We'll see more in a minute. Thank you. Okay, we have moved the big piece of metal, and as animals are and creatures are, they take advantage of the environment that they have. You can see that the land underneath it has been destroyed, and we have a snake starting to get ready for the day, and we're going to carefully ensure that it's not disturbed here. And we should be seeing the sun come up shortly, and then it'll go off and find its place to live. And we're taking this piece of metal out right now. So we started moving it, and it's nasty. But I wanted to share this particular creature with you, and we'll find out what type it is later, but that is a beautiful creature. We're now down in the bottomland, this is often called a wetland. It's a particular type of wetland. It's a mesic hardwood wetland. And here's some trophy pieces we're going to be taking out here in just a minute, and then we're going to be done with the trophy pieces for today, and we're going to get down to some cleaning to restore the habitat. So we've got these boards here. We'll do what we can with them, and we've got an awful large tire over there. When I was growing up in New York, we used to play with those things, but apparently that doesn't fly here. And then we got there's the goal. That's what we're really looking for, is this trash right here, and we'll be working on that as soon as we get some of these trophy items out of here. And we'll get started with that in just a moment. Let's take a look. We'll be going out into that field after we take care of these trophy items. We're going to go take a look, and then we're going to have a tree planting, and then we'll get on with our work. We're going to get started with those trophy items, but I wanted to show you one other thing here. This can has just been taken out of the ground, and not too long ago, well, it was about 8 months ago, I was down here and we pulled a tow truck train out of the ground, and the ground appears to be so acidic that it just ate up that tow truck chain. Pulled it out of the ground without any problem, and it just flaked away the ends that had been buried under the ground. So this is what we're dealing with here. We're going to find out what causes this. It might be natural, and then we'll work with it, because some of the plants, like the tree that we're going to be planting, appreciates this kind of soil, but this is a little odd. This looks like this has been here a while, but it could just as well have been deposited here within the last year. Okay, we're done with the trophy materials this morning. So we got some very large pieces of wood here, and we put them in a place that will be easy for our partners to come pick it up. Many thanks to the Department of Public Works of the City of Wayne. And if this turns out to be too much or whatever we're doing with that, we'll change our behaviors. But this is just a start. These are all our trophy pieces. We got a gigantic truck tire. We got some, I think that's 2x6, 2x8, 2x6 here, 2x8s, 2x10s over there, and a large piece of rusty metal. So we pulled this all out. Now, keep in mind that those folks had to do a lot of work to get that down in there. Okay, let's get on with it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're taking a look at the field that we're concerned with right now. This is kind of the center of the work that we're doing. And we had seen that virginensis. I got to get the actual name for that tree that we just freed up. And there's one, not seeing it too well right now. We'll get up closer later. But they have a very nice look. And actually some people put them in their yards, but I don't see them around here much. But they do well here. This is their westernmost range. And we have some low growing juniper down there. And that I think you can see. So we got these little hummocks going on, and this is all a sandy plain down there. And we're working to find out what's been in there, because it looks like there may be some pollution in there. The river comes up and leaves it, and that'll be the next step. But we're not working on that today. I just thought, oh, there goes a bird. And we got a little woodpecker. Don't know if you saw that, but now here we see again a little bit down in the field, but now we're looking at the wetland edge. We're seeing a stream forming up here, and this goes on down to the lower branch of the River Rouge here in the city of Wayne. And this is a very important habitat, as there are a lot of amphibians that live down here, and all along the edges and up on the hills we'll see reptiles, that is turtles and snakes, making their nests and wintering over. But it's just so wonderful to see the water down there, and we're working on cleaning it up and seeing what else we can bring back to this location. Oh, there's a little deer over there hopping away. There, oh, I talked a little too loud, but you saw the deer there, and it looks like we have at least 2, maybe 3 species of deer. But we're looking at the wetlands right now, and this is some bottomland. And again, this is the Masick Flatwood wetlands. These are hardwoods down in here. And let's get on with it. So we're moving right along here. Got this beautiful autumn weather going on. I just was picking up a small piece of plastic, and it turned out to be about 25 yards of plastic that were all bunched up in a pile. And then I found this bag with this message: please return to a participating store for recycling. And there it goes. So we're going to put it in the trash today, because we're not going to be recycling that bag. We're doing great work here. We're getting a lot of things cleared out all on the edgeway. And it looks like another piece of plastic we'll be taking a look at there as well. And the bad thing about the plastic is it spreads out, and it stops plants from growing, and also can tangle creatures, and doesn't allow the proper transfer of moisture through the soil, and that causes all sorts of havoc. So here we go. So working through the woods here, and here we have another piece that was cut down by some landscaping company and thrown out here. And then we're looking at this piece right here, and it crosses the living tree, which we see has been bent down pretty much. So we're going to remove this piece, get it off here, and clean it up. And we're going to have to find a way to communicate to these people not to do this anymore, because what we're looking at right here, we're going to take a step over to our left. We're still working on cleaning this up. So this area has this natural pathway that moves slowly down and off to the right, which gives folks access to that very large piece of the park, which is easy to navigate and very beautiful. So we want to have this all cleaned up and have this detritus taken out of here or placed somewhere, and inform the folks that are doing it to knock it off. Okay, it's not good stuff. All right. It's odd to me sometimes. I go on cleaning this stuff up because it's good for nature and the creatures will return. And a lot of them haven't been classified yet. We don't know too much about them. They could help us. So I'm cleaning all this stuff up. But sometimes it strikes me as odd that I'm picking things up that look like they belong to companies that make at least hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. You would think that they would clean up after themselves. I know there's trash from just regular folks, but I'm seeing industrial stuff and commercial material, and that's a shame for us all. Okay, that's the end of our broadcasting day. That's just my way of saying we finished work for today, and it was very productive. Keep in mind, there's a few more bags in my car my car truck that are going to be thrown out elsewhere. But this is the material that was collected today by the team. Isn't that awesome? They did a great job today. We also were able to plant a tree. And I almost forgot, it's time to scatter the wild the wildflowers. So we were going to do that a little earlier, but I'll take care of that in just a minute and you'll be along with me. But there it is. Wow. And we got our prize items, our trophy items. We've got a giant tire thrown in there with some electrical goods. And then we got this plastic thing, whatever that is. And then the wood. So we got a couple of other trophies. But the important thing about the trophy items is that the wood has been here for almost a year, and we got rid of that. And the tire has been there. Well, I should say we noticed that a year ago. So it's been waiting for us to come get it. And the piece of metal that we started out with at the first part of the day, that was noticed when we first started doing this work 3 years ago. So it's been waiting for 3 years for us to pull it out. And we did it, we got it done. And we're moving along with this. Today we saw some deer, we saw some northern brown snake, maybe another type of snake, and a wonderful type of snail, and several different birds. And the change that was made here along this stretch of Michigan Avenue, West Michigan Avenue, US 12, in Michigan, in Wayne, Michigan, is going to have a big impact because the material that we took away from this ridge here, it's not going to go down into the Messick wetlands, into the hardwood wetlands. It's not going to be down there. When we pulled the stuff out of down there already, and we come up the hill, we cleaned up the hill, and then took it away from the ridge. So new stuff, new material is not going to go down there. And we're already seeing, I wish I had a before for you, but that place down there, the areas down there that you see covered with the light grass, and there is some Phrygia, but not much, so we got to get out of there. But there is some light grass down there, some prairie grass, and wildflowers, and it's now autumn, so we don't get to see the blooms. But all of that ground down there was exposed sand and dirt, clay and rock. And now you can see it's got a very nice cover of grasses growing up around the junipers and the virginensis, which is down there somewhere. We planted that, and it's doing what you do. And I need you to do this by your place. I need you to clean it up the littlest bit. We took small bags out, but we took a lot of small bags out. We took a lot of pieces of plastic out of here. And of course, now that they're out, anything new that comes back is easy to see and take care of. And the next step, we're gonna find out where that material was coming from in the first place and stop that. So wonderful. Okay, time to sprinkle the wildflowers. So here we are down here, sharing some of our seeds. I'm going to be spreading them around, sharing them all around. There we go. And we should see some return in the spring and then get off on their way. They haven't been here for a while. This has all been strange grasses, low-growing plants that have survived in this highly acidic soil, which we're going to be learning more about as time goes on. Whoa! Uneven ground. There we go. And there we can clearly see the deer trail. So we've got those seeds out. All good with that. Got another little batch we'll be sharing. Yay! Everybody have some seeds. There we go. Those may be eaten today, but that's all right. And now that we're down here, let's go and take a look and see if we can get close to the pond, over by the pond, and see what it looks like at this time of year. And then we'll call it a day. So again, we're following a deer trail here. And of course, you need to be careful about that because you might pick up some ticks. And here we see the vernal pond, the vernal pools as they're also called. Vernal pools, vernal pond. And we're seeing the grass laid down in it that has grown up while the water's gone down. Normally this is 2 to 3 feet deep, or I shouldn't say normally, but it's 2 to 3 feet parts of the year, particularly in the spring. That's where you get the word vernal from, the spring pools, the spring ponds. And it's empty right now, but it's still supporting a wide variety of life. The birds will come down here and eat whatever insects and mollusks appear. There are mollusks sleeping and some still active in the substrate. And then we'll see the amphibians that are hibernating right now, the frogs, and there should be salamanders around here. We found some giant tiger salamanders just east of here. So there should be some here. This is their habitat, but if the salamanders aren't here, we're gonna find out why, and then we're gonna get a little busload of salamanders and bring it back and have them settle down back where they belong. So we had a wonderful day today, and I wanna thank you for spending time with me.